Now I have always known about the power and that comes with white privilege. I tell clients, friends, whomever, about the times when I would get pulled over in little podunk, probably sundown towns in South Georgia as I traveled for work. Several things often happened. And say I have a bit of a speeding problem, or had. And so I would get pulled over often by the quintessential backwoods, pot-bellied, southern drawl sheriff or deputy. And they'd pull up to my car and they'd do exactly what they always do. They stick their hand on the back of the card and put their fingerprints on it. They come up and they ask me for my license. With my license, I would hand them my concealed carry permit because I'm not traveling without a gun in my car when I was in South Georgia. That's not happening. Not as a gay man anyway, but also because, yeah, anyway. And so they would almost say the same thing. And I got 2015, I got pulled over so much that realistically I memorized the script. They'd say, "Well, boy, you got a gun in your car?" I'd say, "Yes, sir." "Where is it?" And usually it was right in the armrest. And I'd tell them so. "All right, well, don't touch it. I'll be right back." And they'd go back to their patrol car and they would run my license and do whatever they were going to do. Generally, what they did was reduce the speed that I was actually going to something that wasn't going to put any points on my license and wasn't going to raise my insurance rates. That's white privilege. The other part of white privilege was the fact that I never got pulled out of the car. I never got a gun drawn on me. I never got anything more than, well, don't touch it. That's what I got. And I realized what privilege I carry. Didn't ask for it. Didn't want it. I mean, it was nice. I'm not going to lie. I got out of some tickets. I never got pulled out of the car and thrown on the floor and had some, 350-pound sheriff's deputy putting his knee on my neck. But it's real. And what it taught me is I needed to figure out why it was real. I needed to figure out what the fuck was going on in this country that made me any more better, different, whatever than somebody black. And I knew that I was different because of that. And I wanted to do the research. And so here I am. Because what I also realized is that people who look like me, and you all know who you are, people who look like me don't listen to anybody who's going to tell you this stuff that doesn't look like me. And so I started doing this podcast because I truly believe that this information needs to be out there and needs to be heard. We've been told this by the people whose experience it's been in their lived world for centuries. And we don't fucking listen and we don't fucking learn. So my whole purpose here is to hope that the people who look like me are going to start listening because I look like them.